you guys were working a long time doing breath work. I know you guys had teamed up with Wim at one point and doing that and mixed
Mhm.
with ice and working with Laird, and now you're running shift.
Yeah.
What is shift? And I guess, how are you guys working with athletes?
Um, so what we're doing is really kind of bringing a more consciousness to training, like what I've talked about, developing a practice. And so we offer up a myriad of different things for people to actually experience or play with, but we've added at the foundation breath control with that. So getting a real basic understanding of how breath control works within the aspects of any sort of training, or even as a standalone, how you move with it or how you use it before, during, and after these things. So we're really bringing people to more of a healing place from a very holistic, I'd say from the most extreme holistic place you can, without going into the psychedelics world, without going into the holotropic or psychedelic breathwork stuff. It's not that we're staying away from that stuff. It's just we're staying in a lane
No, you're just
to
different focus.
totally, totally.
Yeah, yeah.
But that doesn't mean we're not playing in these areas. But we're really offering people, where we're headed is more of from the experiential side with people to show them how they actually manage stress in varying situations and showing them the deeper level side of that, to where that emotional side is actually more of an inherited process that they don't realize they've been making decisions based on, and they're not as authentic as they could be. And so giving them a portal, a guidance into how to authentically experience something without that emotional attachment.
Yeah, that's man, I really, really like that. And the idea that you guys are setting that up with athletes, I think is a big deal. Because there's such different connections to things. I mean, whether that's panic and the emotion that comes with it, or high stress and the emotions that come with it, and then people shut down and then don't function well and don't perform well. I mean, we've seen tons of athletes that perform great in training and can't manage the anxiety of actually competing. Uh,
Yes.
and so, is that using the breath work to help them kind of separate from the physical body that they're in and be able to control the situation? Is that
Yeah.
kind of the main
Yeah.
thing of it?
Yeah. I mean, look, if I can get somebody to engage in some sort of breath control, regardless of the patterning, if they will be engaged with that, we've now removed the outside chatter. So that's why breath work is really at the foundation of all major meditative practices, right? You
Present.
know, when I worked, so I worked at San Quentin for like 6 months, and I talked to my guys there that really went. I mean, they went headfirst into this program that I had developed.
And are
I
you
just
you're
brought
talking to San Quentin as far as like prison?
correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So when I was still living up north, in NorCal, I engaged in a program at San Quentin. I asked to start a program there. I had some connections to kind of get in and do that, and went in, and I asked these. I told these guys, many of them doing life sentences, like, hey, look, there are groups of people that have decided to like just give up everything, move to the mountains of Asia, isolate themselves with very few people, eat once or twice a day, and they engage in a breath and meditative practice, and they find enlightenment. You may not have chosen really to be here, although you may have. Um, you may not want to be here, but how you decide to be here is really no different than them. And it is your choice on how you want to do that.
So
And
you're essentially teaching these guys meditation to be able to manage
it,
being in prison.
bro, yeah, I mean, it was really, I went this backdoor route with it. And I inevitably had, I mean, I had a guy who was in for manslaughter who, killed a guy in a fight. And he came up to me, and he's like, look, I've been fighting my whole life. You came in here and you said this could change our lives in a way that we would never imagine if we just went all in. He goes, you were right. He goes, the other day I had a guy who started a fight with me that I could have beat the shit. I could have just
Right.
tarred this guy.
Yeah.
And I literally just started breathing, and it made me smile. And I walked away for the first time in my life. And
Yo, what
that
a cool
that was
tool.
like one of the biggest. I was like, there you go. Like, and I let him know, I'm like, this is all you. This is your decision. This is your process. I simply brought you to a place to guide you to understand that you have what you actually have control over versus what you don't have control over. And so if you take the time to understand that, and that's where breath work can bring you in, because for a lot of us who deal with more anxiety and this ramped up, like, just energy, right? Breathing can really calm that down right away.
Yeah, it's been super valuable. Even just doing box breathing or simple apnea training, just
Yeah.
being able to use something to be present. The way I always describe it to people, it's if you're breathing in a, I guess, non-autonomous way, and you're
Mhm.
counting and holding and doing those things, it's really tough to think about anything else.
Correct.
And that's what a simple practice that is. And especially once you can start breathing and really feeling things open up, and crazy that
Yep.
you'll get sore from doing it.
Uh-huh.
And then also really weird to breathe really hard for a couple minutes and feel like you can't continue to do it, but like you're not dying, you're laying on the ground. Like, of course this is a muscle that you're not flexing, that you're not getting better at.
And that's why Wim Hof's had such an impact on people, is he was able to bring something to the people who are these type A's, myself included, crazies of the world. And it's like, we're going to hyperventilate and we're going to hold our breath. And all of a sudden, wham, just literally get this backflip of, you get this rebound effect of the sympathetic into the parasympathetic nervous system that drops you out and calms you down instantaneously. And you're like, oh my God, I'm present.
Yeah, what an interesting tool for lunatics.
Yes.
As we are, and Wim sure as shit is.